Welcome back to Breakfast Television on this Wednesday. Meredith Shaw, Sid Cicero here with you. A recent study found that Toronto is one of the top 3 Canadian cities that have no riz when it comes to flirting. Joining us this morning to tell us what riz is and to give us a crash course in flirting, including the do's and the don'ts, is love and confidence coach Navi Bliss. Navi, it is blissful having you in this morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
I know there's a decent size of the population watching this who knows what riz is. For the rest of us, how do you define riz? What does that mean?
I would define that as charisma, just being able to connect with people naturally in a way that is warm and welcoming as opposed to offensive.
Yeah, we don't want to offend. That's sort of step one. Yeah. But how has flirting changed over the years?
So modern dating is different because in the past, dating could be very sexual. It was okay to comment on people's bodies. And in the modern world, you can't do that. That can come across as sexual harassment, especially if you ever try to flirt with anyone in the workplace or any scenario like that. So you have to be more mindful. You have to pay attention to people's cues. You have to pay attention to body language. Are they receptive to you? And modern dating is really about creating warm openings, connections, and allowing things to develop naturally.
All right, so as I mentioned, do's and don'ts. We're going to walk you through a few of them here. Navi's got some great suggestions. Let's start with the things not to do when flirting. In my mind, I have like 18 ideas that you should just never go near, but you're the expert. Where do you start?
Start with the knots.
So you want to be authentic in what you're saying to someone. If you're saying things that are not authentic, you're being cheesy, this is not going to lead to a genuine connection, and oftentimes people are just going to turn away and they're going to not be able to connect with you as a person. The other thing that you want to avoid doing is, again, making any overly sexualized comments about people's bodies. A really great thing to do instead would be perhaps comment on someone's style, because people normally put a lot of effort into that. And then you want to pay attention to see if someone is responding to you, right? If someone is leaning into the conversation, great, go forward. But if someone is pulling away or they feel awkward, that is not the time to press harder or to push harder or to go after that person. That is the time to take a step back. And then another mistake that I see people make a lot at parties or bars or things like that is they will circle the room trying to hit on different people. And this comes across as super, super desperate, right? So they'll approach one person.
Sorry, so that's not a good idea.
That's not a good idea. The circling, yeah. Peroni, circling, Peroni,
yes.
circling. Yeah.
Don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Okay, there you go.
Because people are paying attention, right? So if you're going up to one group and someone rejects you and then you go up to the next group and you go up to the next group, that is not going to make
Especially if the groups are 8 feet away from each other. That's a bad place to go.
Yeah, and the thing is, what makes you really attractive to somebody is when you can make them feel seen and when you can make them feel special. Because most people go their whole lives without feeling seen and special very often. And when you can do that for somebody, then they're going to be magnetized to you. They're going to be attracted to you. And when you're circling the room like that, you are not doing that for somebody. You are not making them feel seen and special, and that comes across as very desperate.
Yeah, and you got to kind of start with yourself on that front too, right? Like, it really comes from confidence and practicing, you say. We can actually practice how to flirt. We can get better at this.
Exactly. This is a skill that you develop, and you do want to start with yourself. You do want to start with your confidence, because you want to know what your value is and what you're bringing to the table, which means that if you approach people and they're not interested, you're not getting offended. No one owes you an interaction. No one owes you their interest. And it's just knowing that you have something to offer, and it's really great if someone does engage with that. And if they don't, you're going to move on, but not circling like a vulture at a party in different situations. And another way that you can practice is just by flirting with the world, because I already talked about how you don't want to do sexual flirting in the beginning. You want to allow things to develop naturally. And this is just about warm communication with people. So when you're at the cash register, when you're in line somewhere, when you're in the elevator, just practice saying hello to people.
100%. We are flirting with the end of the segment. Forgive me. Where can people find you online? You were great.
So my website is navibliscoaching.com. I'm also on all social media at Navi Bliss.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Navi, thanks for coming by.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
A lot to think about there. More BT coming up.